Welcome to the Financial Interest YouTube channel. My name's Dan. So last week Tim Cook was in the headlines for celebrating 10 years as CEO of Apple. So I thought that this is a great opportunity to look back at his achievements over his time in charge. So let's get on with the video. So the 24th of August marked 10 years of Tim Cook being CEO of Apple. And remember, the management team plays a critical role in the success or failure of any company. So it's really important to have a great CEO to manage your company. So Tim Cook was working for Compaq in the late 90s, having already spent 12 years at IBM prior to that. And in 1997, Steve Jobs had just rejoined Apple after his long exodus and his fallout with the company that he founded in the 1970s. So Jobs had been tasked with turning Apple's fortunes around. And one of the first things that Steve Jobs did was to hire Tim Cook. And although looking back at it now, it seems like this would be an obvious move, but actually Apple were really struggling at that point in the 90s. And Compaq was actually a much more successful company, believe it or not. But I guess the key here was that Tim Cook just couldn't really turn down the opportunity to work with such a visionary leader as Steve Jobs. This is the kind of opportunity that only comes around once in a lifetime. So Cook took this opportunity and joined Apple in March of 1998. His first role in Apple was Senior Vice President of Worldwide Operations, and he held that role between 1998 and 2005 when he actually became the Chief Operating Officer. And the main reason that Jobs had actually brought Cook on was because of his expertise in supply chain and logistics, because Apple needed to really streamline their operation to become more profitable at that time. In August of 1998, Apple launched the first iMac. And I actually remember these when I was doing a college course back in the early 2000s. So now let's go and take a look at some of the milestones during Tim Cook's 10 years as CEO. So Tim Cook took charge of Apple on August the 24th, 2011. And actually Steve Jobs died less than 3 months later on October the 5th. Then in 2012, Apple started paying a dividend again for the first time since 1995. Apple Pay started in October of 2014 with the first Apple Watch coming out in April of 2015. And this was the first new product line since Jobs' death. Then the next product lineup was the AirPods, which were launched in September 2016. April 2017 saw the transition to Apple Park. And Apple Park is their purpose-built headquarters. In 2018, Apple Park started running completely off renewable energy. In August of 2018, Apple became the first trillion-dollar company. In March 2019, Apple shifted focus to services with a view to creating monthly subscription models for Apple TV Plus, which is a streaming service, and that would launch later the same year with a view to being a rival to Netflix. In 2020, they also created the Apple One bundle, which included Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, the video games platform, and iCloud storage. And later in the same year, in August, they announced the Apple credit card. In August 2020, Apple's market cap hit 2 trillion, and this is just 2 years after passing the 1 trillion mark. In January of 2021, Apple passed 1 billion active iPhone devices in the world. And in August 2021, Tim Cook celebrated 10 years as CEO, receiving the final payment of his 5 million shares, worth $750 million. And now we'll take a quick look at the financial achievements during his 10 years as CEO. So Apple stock has enjoyed an incredible rise in Tim Cook's tenure as CEO. We can see here that it's gone from 13.36 to 147.54. And that's when adjusted for stock splits, which there have been 2 of in his time in charge. And this is a 1,004% increase over that time. Now, I don't normally put too much emphasis on stock price. I'm only really interested in this at the point where I'm buying a stock or selling it. But it's always incredible to see how much the stock price can rise in a very short amount of time, particularly over the last couple of years. Apple has seen revenue increases of 220% from 101 billion in 2011 to 374 billion. Free cash flow has increased by 185% from 33.3 billion to 94.8 billion. This is one of the main things I look for in a company, and the free cash flow has been growing at a rate of 8.23% compounded for the last 10 years. The profit or net income has increased by 235%. It's increased from 25.9 billion in 2011 to 86.8 billion today. Earnings per share has seen an increase of 417%, from just under $1 a share to $4.95, and this is taking into account stock splits and repurchases. Apple has carried out 2 stock splits during Cook's tenure as CEO, a 4-for-1 split in August of 2020 and a 7-for-1 split in June of 2014. And the market cap has also increased from $346 billion to nearly $2.5 trillion as of recording this video, which is up an incredible 623%. Once again, I don't really pay much attention to market cap as a valuation form, but it does give me some guidance into what the possible growth of the company could be due to its size. So there we've seen some of Tim Cook's main highlights in charge of Apple as CEO. Whilst I don't think you can compare Steve Jobs and Tim Cook in the same respect for product innovation and things like that, you have to respect what Tim Cook has done for their operations in terms of turning Apple into a huge profit generating machine. And whereas Steve Jobs is obviously for the Apple enthusiasts, for all of the great products that he brought to the table, I think Tim Cook is really a person of the shareholders. He's really had a great impact on Apple as a business. And even the Oracle of Omaha has one of his largest stock positions in Apple. So back in 2016, Buffett bought into Apple when the company had a PE ratio of around 10, which is incredibly low for a company like Apple. And obviously now we're here 5 years on, and that's already around 30 PE at the moment. And I'd also recommend checking out my management video to learn more on how to analyze the management team in a company. I'll leave that up there. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like. Also consider subscribing to the channel as well if you haven't already, and you can hit the notification bell to get notified of when I release new videos. I appreciate the support of everyone, new and returning, who's watching as I try to grow the channel. And please let me know in the comments, where do you think Apple will be in the next 10 years? Are they going to continue to grow, or is it going to get to the point where they're such a huge company that everything slows down quite a lot? But leave it in the comments. I'm always interested to know what you think about that kind of thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.